Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel, and it is this time of year again. We are going to be starting up the round 1 tipping as well as the round 1 margin comp. So it's going to work how it did like last season. Basically, we'll be spinning a wheel to see what game you guys will be predicting in the comments. And yeah, just like always, winner gets a shout out in the next margin comp. And then after we do the spinning wheel and all the margin comp details, we'll be moving on to my round 1 tips. And yeah, I'll just be going on my phone and going through the games and deciding who I think will be winning the games. Alright, and once again, we are going to be spinning the wheel to see what game you guys will be predicting, and it lands on North Melbourne. And the game that North Melbourne will be competing in is taking on the Power at Marvel Stadium on Sunday. So it's going to be a very hard game for North Melbourne to win this, even at their home deck, but versing the Power coming off a great season and unexpected season from last season. I said season a lot of times there, but anyway, we'll move on. Alright, now heading into the margin comp rules. Number 1, must enter before first bounce. Number 2, you must be subscribed to the channel. Number 3, must predict the winning team and winning margin. Number 4, no edited comments are allowed. And best of luck to all you guys who decide to enter. Alright, now on to the round 1 tips. And before we get into it, obviously you guys will know I've been talking a little weird in the intro. That's because I got braces today, so I'm sorry if this video sounds a bit weird because I do have braces. So yeah, I'll move to this side and we'll get on to the ESPN tipping. Alright, so first game is obviously Richmond versus Carlton, the traditional round 1 match for the start of the season. 95% have tipped Richmond, and I think I'll have to go with the 95%. Pretty obvious one, this one. And it's always around that 25-point margin, I reckon, for the Tigers. I'm going to tip them by 4 goals exactly. So the Tigers will get up against the Blues by 24 points, I reckon, at the MCG. Moving on to the Friday night game. Now, this is a big match, and it's going to be a very hard one to tip as well. Dogs coming off, obviously, that 39-point win over the Melbourne Demons in the Amy Community Series. But also Collingwood did not, they fell just short against the Tigers, also in the Amy Community Series. So it's a bit of a tricky one to tip, but I'm actually gonna back in the Pies for this one. A bit of a unusual tip, but just because it is at the MCG, I reckon they'll get the job done. If it was at Marvel, however, I reckon the Bulldogs would be a better choice. Moving on to the Dockers game, we have the Dockers obviously versus Melbourne at the MCG. Oh, look, I don't know. I'll be at this game, and well, I'm hoping to be at this game, and if I do, there will be a match day vlog out on this. Oh, I'm not sure about this one at all, and because the Dockers, everyone is expecting them to do well, and even I am, and the D's are coming off a 39-point loss. Oh, I'm not sure. It's a hard one. It's a tricky one. So, I think I got to tip the D's. Actually, no, I'm going to tip with my heart. Go the Dockers. You can't tip against your own team. Because if you tip against your own team, if you tip against them, if you tip the D, say, example, in this case, scenario, and then the Dockers win, you'll just feel so bad about it. So, I'm going to go the Dockers just because, yeah, I'm following my heart. And then Adelaide versus Geelong at Adelaide Oval. Pretty obvious one, isn't it? Adelaide coming off a wooden spoon, Geelong coming off a grand final, so it's a pretty obvious one to pick for this match. Moving on, Essendon versus Hawthorn at Marvel Stadium. This is going to be a close battle, I reckon, between these two sides, because they are both very average at the moment. They both look like they're going to finish around the same bottom 6 position around there on the table this season. I'll go with the Hawks, I reckon, just because the majority have tipped the Hawks, so I'll just join them. Next game is Brisbane versus Sydney at the Gabba. Once again, got to tip the Lions, coming off an outstanding season in 2020. And yeah, the Swans are just going to fall short in basically a lot of matches they had last year. And we have 3 more games to go. North Melbourne versus Port Adelaide. North Melbourne probably going to finish around that bottom 3 position. Be lucky if they actually avoid the wooden spoon somehow. but obviously going to have to tip Port Adelaide on this one. It is a Marvel Stadium, however. But yeah, Port will just be way too strong. Next game is GWS taking on St Kilda at Giants Stadium. Home game for the Giants, but they're not looking in too good a form, and the Saints have had a couple injuries in the past weeks. And because it is at the Giants' home ground, this is actually a really tricky one to pick. The money is on the Giants, and I'm going to back them in at their home deck, I reckon. With all the St Kilda injuries, I reckon they'll be able to run over them on their home turf. And then finishing off round 1 is going to be West Coast taking on Gold Coast at Optus Stadium. Gold Coast, I don't think have ever won a game at Optus Stadium. If I'm just trying to think about that, like I just can't imagine Gold Coast winning a game at Optus Stadium. So I'm just going to tip the West Coast Eagles. 97% have tipped the Eagles, and I'll join them in this one and tip them. I'll say maybe they'll win it by about 40 points, I reckon. And that is going to be it for today's video, and do not forget to drop your predictions down in the comments for a chance of winning a shout out in next week's margin comp. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.